I was the only one who ever volunteered for the Christmas Eve overnight shift at the Sundown Supermarket. Time and a half pay, and the absolute silence of a giant empty store was a bonus, not a curse, or so I thought. This particular Christmas Eve, the silence changed. It became a living thing, a holding of breath. My routine was always the same. At 11 p.m., after the last straggling customer bought their eggnog, I'd lock the doors, turn off the main overhead lights, and be left in the dim glow of the dairy case and the security lamps. The only sounds were the distant hum of the compressors and the rustle of my own jacket. I'd start my rounds at the front, working my way back to the freezers. The first thing that felt off was the PA system. At 12:07 a.m., it crackled to life with a burst of static that made me jump. Then, a tinny, slow rendition of Silent Night began to play. The manager must have left the timer on. I shook my head annoyed and headed to the back office to shut it off. But the switch did nothing. The music played on, that single melancholic carol, on a loop. I tried to ignore it, continuing my stock check in the cereal aisle. That's when I saw the first set of footprints. The floor had been mopped clean at closing. But here, leading from the baking goods toward the meat department, was a trail of wet, bare footprints, small ones, a child's size. A chill, colder than any freezer, went through me. I followed them, my own boots squeaking on the linoleum. They ended abruptly at the heavy swinging doors to the meat locker. The Silent Night melody scratched to a halt. In the new, thick quiet, I heard a new sound, a soft, rhythmic thump. Thump, thump coming from behind the meat locker doors. Like someone gently bouncing a ball, I stood there, paralyzed. This wasn't right. This was against every rule of the empty, silent world I knew. I pushed through the doors. The cold was instant, biting through my clothes. The locker was empty of people, the rows of carcasses hanging still. The thumping was gone. But on the floor, centered under a single swaying hook, was a small red rubber ball. Dripping wet, I didn't touch it. I backed out, my heart hammering against my ribs. I decided to call it. I'd tell the manager I felt sick. I just needed to get my coat from the break room. As I passed the long, dark freezer aisle, the one with the glass doors frosted over, I saw it. A single clear handprint on one of the glass doors. A small handprint melted into the frost from the outside, and behind the foggy glass, a dark, small shape was standing there, not moving. I ran. I didn't care about my coat, my bag. I fumbled with the front door locks, my fingers numb and clumsy, expecting a cold little hand on my shoulder any second. I finally burst out into the bitter Christmas air and drove home in a blind panic. I quit the next day, gave some excuse about my schedule. The manager, a kind older man, just nodded. As I was leaving his office, he said, "Sorry about the PA system glitch. Happens every Christmas Eve. The old wiring, I guess." I just stared at him. He continued, almost to himself, "And the darndest thing, we always find a puddle of water and a red rubber ball in the meat locker on the 26th. Every year. The new guys always think it's a prank." I never worked another night shift. But last December, I was in a different supermarket, grabbing a last-minute gift. It was late, near closing. I was in a deserted aisle when the store's music cut out, and over the PA, faint and distorted, I heard a few familiar tinny notes of Silent Night. My blood turned to ice. I dropped my basket and walked quickly toward the front. As I passed the frozen food section, I didn't look at the doors. I couldn't, but in my peripheral vision, I swear I saw the faint, foggy outline of a small handprint slowly fading into the frost.